Did you know that the most stressful part of owning a Galaxy in 2026 isn't battery life, cameras, or even app glitches? It's the update screen that won't take no for an answer. The One UI 8.5 is fast, clean, and honestly one of Samsung's best eras. But the update system still feels like old TouchWiz energy, persistent, pushy, and eventually unavoidable. And in the One UI 9, there's only one feature I want. Not tap to share. Not AI photo tricks. One simple toggle that gives you control again. Pause updates indefinitely. I've used Samsung phones long enough to remember when TouchWiz felt like a chore, laggy transitions, bloated menus, and random design choices that looked like 5 teams ship 5 different ideas. Fast forward to the One UI 8.5, and it's a different company. Animations are smoother, the UX is cleaner, and the phone usually feels like it's working with you instead of against you. But there's still a part of the experience that feels stuck in the past. You don't really get to say no. You can delay an update, swipe the notification away, or tap later, but keep ignoring it, and it escalates. It turns into a persistent nudge, then a routine interruption, then a ritual you have to deal with like paying a bill. And the wild part is, for a lot of people, the safest phone is the one that's already working perfectly. So today, the rumored talk is aside, I am making the case for the most basic One UI 9 feature Samsung could ship, and why it matters more than all the flashy stuff. Here's the thing. Samsung's update policy looks incredible on paper. Years of Android upgrades, monthly security patches, and faster rollouts with each generation. Enthusiasts begged for this for years, and Samsung delivered. That deserves credit. But real life doesn't happen on paper. Not every update makes your phone better. Sometimes an update lands and suddenly your battery is worse. Your idle drain goes up. Your phone gets warmer doing the same stuff it did yesterday. Your camera tuning changes, and now your photos look different and not in the way you wanted. Performance can also shift, not always as raw speed, but in how the phone feels. Background apps reload more often, games throttle earlier, or a specific app starts acting weird after a patch. If you've owned more than one Galaxy over the years, you've probably seen that pattern of phone that felt perfect out of the box slowly changes over time. Sometimes it's an improvement, sometimes it's not. And that's why a lot of longtime users develop a simple rule. If it works, don't touch it. Except One UI doesn't let you live by that rule. Because Samsung's current model assumes everyone wants to stay on Samsung's timeline. Latest equals best. New equals safer. And sure, sometimes that's true. But it's not universally true for every person, every device, every region, and every update. People use their phones differently. Some people update instantly, the second the notification pops up, because they love new features and want to be current. Some people wait a week or two to see if anything breaks. Some people only update when they have time, like on a Friday night because they don't want their Monday morning phone to behave differently. And some people skip versions entirely because their phone is stable, and they're not interested in gambling on a change. Right now, Samsung treats all those people the same. An update arrives. A notification appears, and the system keeps pushing until you give in. And it doesn't even take a deliberate decision to lose what you liked. It takes one accidental tap on Install Now. One misstep while you're half awake. One moment where you just want the notification gone. And suddenly you're committed. Your phone restarts, things shift, and now you're troubleshooting a phone that was fine yesterday. Now layer on top the fact that updates can feel like a risk. Over the years, there have been enough reports across different models of updates that led to battery degradation, overheating, weird performance dips, or unexpected bugs. Even if those issues don't hit everyone, the reputation builds. It trains users to be cautious, and it makes that forced update feeling 10 times worse. And then there's the green line problem. This is where the conversation gets uncomfortable, because it's not just my battery dropped 5%. There are tons of user reports where people update, and then hours or days later, they notice a line on the display. Sometimes it's green, sometimes it's pink. And now you're looking at a screen replacement, and in many cases, it's not free. Whether every case is directly caused by software is a debate, but the timing is enough to make people nervous. And when people are nervous, they want control. Which brings me to the only One UI 9 feature I want Samsung to add. A simple toggle that says, pause updates indefinitely. Not pause for 24 hours. Not remind me next week. Not a hidden developer option. Not buried under warnings like you're trying to defuse a bomb. Just a clear, normal setting that says, I'm staying on this version until I choose to move. Because that's what this is really about, choice. And before anyone says it, yes, security matters. I'm not saying Samsung should encourage people to stay unpatched forever. I'm saying the system should respect that users have different risk tolerances and different needs. Here's a practical compromise Samsung could do in the One UI 9. Let users pause feature updates indefinitely. Let users defer major Android upgrades indefinitely. Then treat security patches as their own track. Offer them separately. Make critical fixes obvious. If there's an emergency patch, flag it clearly with plain language. But don't bully users into the newest full build when all they want is for their phone to stay stable. Because stability is a feature, and in 2026, stability is rare. Now, this is where rumors around the One UI 9 get interesting, because Samsung is clearly focused on polish and new toys. We're hearing the One UI 9 is expected to land this summer alongside the Galaxy Z Fold 8 and Z Flip 8, built on Android 17. And early test builds are already showing off features that sound genuinely useful. Tap to Share is the big one people keep talking about. It's basically Samsung's take on that tap two phones together vibe, inspired by Apple's name drop. The idea is simple. Unlock both phones, bring them close back to back, NFC does its thing, and you can send images, videos, contacts, or whatever. The recipient taps accept, and you're done. If it works across different Android brands, that's awesome. If it mostly works only between Samsung phones at first, that's still useful, but less exciting. Either way, it's the kind of feature that makes the phone feel modern. We're also hearing about the One UI 9 refreshing core UI, but it's a more compact about phone page, finally focusing on information instead of a giant device render. A new search bar animation that expands and collapses more smoothly. And a photo editor that adds AI-powered suggestion, prompts right where you edit so you don't have to hunt through menus to find the obvious adjustment. All of that is fine. Some of it is genuinely good. But none of it fixes the one daily annoyance that keeps poking you in the eye, the update flow. And here's why this matters even more right now. Samsung is pushing One UI beyond phones. They've got One UI Tizen updates rolling out for TVs, putting the same design language across devices. Fonts, icons, pop-ups, settings menus all more consistent. But even there, we've seen the downside of aggressive UI shifts. Elements shrink, readability gets worse for some people sitting 10 feet away, and Samsung has to patch it with accessibility options like the zoom menu and text. That's exactly the point. Updates can improve things and still make other parts worse, even when intentions are good. So when Samsung forces the update experience, they're basically saying, we know what you need better than you do. And the longer you've used Galaxy phones, the less believable that feels. The One UI is mature now. It's not the chaotic TouchWiz era. It's polished enough to handle an adult-level setting, give the user control, and trust them with it. If Samsung wants the One UI 9 to feel like the next step, not just a new coat of paint, this is it. Give me a toggle. Pause updates indefinitely. Let me lock in a stable build. Let me choose when I take the risk of change. Because if you've ever had a phone that was perfect for you, you know how rare that is. And you know how frustrating it is when the system keeps trying to help you out of it. If you want this feature too, comment pause updates. So Samsung fans searching this topic see, it's not just one person asking. And if you've ever had an update mess with your battery, performance, heating, or camera, tell us which phone and which update it happened on. Also, if you like coverage of the One UI 9 rumors as they leak, subscribe, because the second the beta drops, we're going through what's real and what's marketing. Community call. Should Samsung add pause updates indefinitely, or do you think phones should always stay on the latest build no matter what? Pick a side, explain why, and reply to someone you disagree with like a normal human. The best part of Android is choice, and the One UI 9 should stop pretending updates are one size fits all. So, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates.